Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, I talk to Archana Dinesh about Zumba. Hi, Archana. Thank you for accepting my invite to appear in the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, Venkat sir. I'm doing really nice. And first of all, thank you for inviting me for this podcast. After you told me about the podcast, I was listening to all the others who have done the podcast before, and I must say I've been very inspired. After listening to those, I'm thinking of so many different things that I want to continue doing. So this has been a great opportunity for me as well.
Wonderful. Now, tell us a bit about your background. Where do you live? What do you do, etc.?
Okay, sure. So basically, I have been a Bangalorean my entire life. I was born here, brought up here, married here, living here, and I think I will definitely continue to be a Bangalorean forever. Bangalore has my heart. Uh, so that is about where I live. And in terms of what I've been doing, maybe I should start with what I studied. So in fact, I've completed my architecture and I kind of practiced architecture for just about 2 years. The reason was when I was in architecture itself, I got married and I did not get a lot of time to practice architecture. And once I got into architecture, I realized it needed so much time, and with my married life I was not able to give that much time. So I was actually looking for something that was very something where I could choose my hours. I could dedicate 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day, because of my children and all the domestic chores and all that. So in fact, at that point I got into English language teaching. So in fact, I saw an ad that asked for English language trainers, and the ask was not too much. They only said, you just needed to have very good English without grammar errors and stuff like that. So, and thankfully, because I had this habit of reading books, so I was very confident about my English. So, like that, I went and applied at this place called English Center, and I got into the English language teaching. At that part of my life, I was able to actually give only 1 hour or 2 hours a day because that was just the number of batches that I would handle. But it was something that I really enjoyed doing. In fact, Venkat sir, I should tell you, one of the first classes I went, I was supposed to do one chapter in two classes. But in the first class, I finished 5 chapters. Can you believe
Wow,
that?
that's wonderful.
For me, I felt very good. But after the class, all the students came with me, and then we stood in front of that receptionist, and that receptionist was asking them, "Hegappa ittu classu nivella enjoy madidro?" Or rather, how was the class? Did you all enjoy? And they said, "The teacher is very nice. She was smiling all the time. We liked how she taught, but I did not understand anything." So this was like a slap on my face. I'm like, yeah, people like me, but what am I doing? So after that, I really put an effort. I said, okay, so I have to start from ABC. It's like teaching a child ABC. Just because I know English doesn't mean the rest of them can go at that pace, right? So I went and told the receptionist, I said, consider this zero class. I'll come back and take the same class for them again. And that's my English journey. So by the time I finished that first part of my English classes, they were very happy. They said, okay, you can teach level 2, you can teach level 3. In fact, for one teacher to go directly from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 was very difficult. They would expect us to do, 5, 6 batches of level 1, then 10 batches of level 2, and then reach level 3. So this one batch that I started, I took them all the way to level 3. And level 4 was more about all the interview skills, group discussion skills. It's the job ready skills. So at that time, they called me for another interview and they said, so Archana, you've taught the main levels of English language. Now you're moving into soft skills. Is that something you want to do? I was smitten. I was really smitten by this. So I said, yes, I will go and I will teach soft skills. So that's how I kind of, entered soft skills. And after that, one thing led to another, because after soft skills, then I started exploring things like those were the times when all the edtech companies were kind of just starting off and they were looking for people to facilitate their classes and all that. So I was in fact with a company which was doing scientific experiments to school children. So we would go and demonstrate scientific experiments to the children in the school itself. So that was one thing that I did. After that, I was also working with one more company that was into higher order thinking skills. So they had all these important things that higher order thinking skills was important for children, or how it could change the way a child approached a problem. So
Hmm.
after that, I was smitten by the edtech line. But somewhere in between, what also happened was that I put my daughter into dance class.
Okay.
And then I felt like, my God, that is a part of my life that I really wanted to do and I hadn't done so far. So I joined dance class. And again, I kind of created my old friends group there. And that time, Zumba was just starting in Bangalore. And we had a new Zumba instructor who was coming to that dance class. And because I knew the owner of the dance class so well, so we were like a group of this 5, 6 friends, and he wanted crowd in the class. So he would request us. He's like, there are 2, 3 people who are paying for the class, but I can't just run class with 2, 3 people. Can you all please attend class? So this, so it was for us, it was like we're just being part of the crowd. So we would finish our dance class, wait half an hour, wait for that Zumba class, finish the Zumba, and then we would go home. I realized I liked Zumba even more than the dance class. So I started continuing the Zumba classes. So I feel like everything just falls on my lap, because I don't know, I don't really go hunting for things like the jobs or things that I do. Somehow the universe manifests and I get it. So what happened when the Zumba class was happening? I started going to the different places that the instructor would go to, because I wasn't satisfied with just one class a week, which was
Hmm.
happening at that center. Okay, so I spoke to that instructor. I said, look, I really enjoy Zumba. So you'd let me know which are the centers that you go, and I'll go. I started visiting the center. So I would do about 4 Zumba sessions a week and all that. And he had 3 more instructors with him. As luck would have it, 2 instructors quit. And I was thinking, okay, my God, what do I do now? Where do I look for Zumba class? But then he comes to me and he says, hey, Archana, I've seen you do Zumba. I know that you were doing dance before and you're pretty good at it. So why don't you think of becoming an instructor? So this just came out of the blue. I have no background in dance, no real background in fitness, nothing. And I said, how is this possible? I mean, how will I just become a Zumba instructor? That's when I started doing a little bit of research. And I realized, so the entire to become a Zumba instructor, they have an instructor course, which is just 2 days. They
Hmm.
will teach you the basics of Zumba, and then you can become an instructor as long as you can hold your class, which was very surprising for me, because I always thought that it requires a lot of courses, a lot of hard work that goes into it to get certified and all that. But honestly, the hard work is after you get certified. The certification is nothing, but if you want to keep it going, that's when it is difficult, because then you have to really put in effort. So anyway, so that is part of my Zumba story that I was doing along with my edtech companies.
Right. Okay. So it's pretty interesting to know about the Zumba part of it. So I would like to
Mhm.
explore more on that. So tell us a bit about what Zumba is all about. What are the basics of Zumba?
Okay, so Zumba basically is a dance fitness form. The moment I say dance, a lot of people get scared because they're like, oh, I have 2 left feet, I cannot follow rhythm, I've never really danced. So these are some of the fears that people put out, right? But actually, what Zumba does is it takes from the basic dance forms. In fact, it has 4 basic forms that they start off with. It is merengue, salsa, cumbia, and reggaeton. So they start off, and all these are Latin dance forms. So these are the basic dance forms that Zumba takes from. But they don't go into the very complex moves of anything. They take only the basic moves and make a repetition of those moves, so that you're doing a dance form, but you're repeating it in such a way that becomes an exercise.
Okay, so I have seen the Zumba dance at the programs that are usually conducted on a weekly basis. And it seems more
Correct.
like Bollywood to me rather than the Latin type.
So Zumba also gives us a formula. The formula that the Zumba prescribes is you do a 70% Latin dance forms and you do 30% of whatever you like. And this they have done because worldwide there are very local dance forms that people want to incorporate into their dances.
That's why we have this all this Bollywood style and Bollywood songs are happening and Zumba dance is happening for that. But anyway, coming to the theoretical part of it, you mentioned
Mhm.
four dance forms. So which ones come in what stages?
Like each song is one form. So if I do my first song to be merengue, my second song will be salsa, third will be cumbia, and there are so many others. They do bachata, cha-cha-cha, samba, even belly dance, bhangra, Bollywood. So what we do is a mix of these styles. To tell you a very basic difference between aerobics and Zumba is aerobics starts slow, builds up to the peak in terms of the intensity, and then it goes down. The
Mm-hmm.
curve is it starts, goes all the way up, and comes all the way down. But what we do in Zumba is we keep mixing the songs. So we do one high intensity song, then we'll do a nice soft salsa. After that, we do another high intensity song. So this gives the people a little bit of relaxation in between, which it has been proven to burn much more calories. Yeah, in fact, the name Zumba itself, it is a Colombian name and it means having fun or moving around.
Oh, I see. So it's really interesting. So for people who love the Latin dances, I think Zumba will be a very good opportunity for exercise as well as entertainment, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially because salsa is also one of the main of dance forms of Zumba. So you will actually do only the basics, but in repetition. The idea of the repetition is that you get your exercise out of it.
Somebody was telling me that Zumba is a totally different dance form. It has nothing to do with the existing dance forms of salsa and all that. Now I am getting a different idea from you that that's
Yeah.
in fact the music is the same. It's just the probably the way the movement and all that might be different. I don't know. I have to see.
Uh, no, I think I will clear this doubt for you. First of all, Zumba is not a dance form. It's a dance-based exercise. So the
Mm,
dance forms are the same. The dance form, your salsa is the normal salsa. Your cumbia is the normal cumbia. Belly dance is normal. So it's all the dance forms, but they use the same steps but on a repetitive version. So when you do a dance, people are watching you and then you don't repeat it more than twice, right? Because
yeah.
otherwise people who are watching you get bored.
Yeah.
But when you're exercising, it's all about repetitions.
Mm, mm, mm.
So yeah, there is this confusion. I mean, a lot of people have also asked me this doubt. And or rather, instead of just referring to it as Zumba, they call it Zumba dance because they think it's a dance form.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Zumba just incorporates various different dance forms in it. Oh,
Great.
by the way, I should tell you the story of how Zumba actually took birth. Have you heard of that story?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so there was this aerobics fitness instructor called Beto Perez, and one day, I believe, he forgot to take his aerobics music to class when he was going. So once he reached the class, he realized that he doesn't have his music on him, and he was slightly worried about what he's going to do. And he realized he had all these Latin dance CDs in his car because that was the zamana of the CDs, right?
Mm.
So he had this Latin dance CDs in his class. So he took it to his class, and since he was a fitness instructor and dancer, he was able to simplify the steps and run the class anyway. Although he did not do aerobics, he was able to run the class. And he realized that the students enjoyed the session so much. It was so different from his normal session that he sat down and made this entire Zumba fitness workout.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
story.
really inspiring, really inspiring.
Very true. Okay. Thank you so much for all the background about Zumba. So it inspires me and it inspires the listeners as well, I presume, to learn Zumba and spread the joy of dancing. And let's move on and talk about your hobbies and interests apart from the career map that you just described to us. Um, what are the things that you do apart from work?
Apart from work, see, one of the things that I really like to do is go on treks. So, I mean, I don't really attempt the very, very difficult treks, but moderate treks, especially because Bangalore has so many places around. And this is a relatively newer discovery about myself. That is, in the past 3 or 4 years, I realized that, I really like to be one with nature, climb those small, small hills and sit on top. So, we are a group of about 3, 4 friends. We take breakfast or fruits or dry fruits and some water. We pack things, leave at 4 in the morning, climb some hills, sit there for a couple of hours and come back. So we try and do it at least one weekend a month. So this is
Wow.
yeah, it is something that I really look forward to. By the time it's Wednesday or Thursday, we're all messaging and saying, what's happening this Saturday?
So, how do you identify the spots for hiking?
Initially, we would actually think of all the very, very well-known spots like I've done Savandurga, Devrayan Durga, Madhugiri Betta, Bidar Katte, all these, the well-known spots and all that. Uh, Going along and, once you do a little bit of research on your social media, it keeps throwing suggestions at you.
Hmm.
If I look at spaces, I mean places to trek around Bangalore, and if I look at a reel on Instagram, every time I open Instagram, it will show me a new place because that's the algorithm it's been made for. So every time we
Okay.
see, find something, and we just choose a place and go.
Pretty interesting. I have heard that some of the hikes are kind of difficult to
Mhm.
do. So, how do you choose which hill to go? How difficult it is? How do you know?
Uh, Honestly, we do read a little bit of reviews, but we all have one rule. We will do as much as we can. Whoever cannot go further will sit down, enjoy the nature till the others come back.
Ah, that should
So,
be pretty boring.
no, actually, what happens is we end up. I don't think any of us have stopped. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's super easy, but we just go very, very slowly. It's not like I'm going with a conductor tour or something. We're just 3, 4 of us, right? So we if somebody is tired and if I sit down, the rest of them will sit down with me even for 20 minutes because the idea is just to spend time together with friends.
Okay, great. Sounds good. So, apart from
Yeah.
trekking, what else do you do?
I do read a lot of books, but nowadays the TV has kind of taken over as well with so many series that have come. So I do watch a couple of series, especially the highly recommended ones and all that I watch. I have been wanting with my full-time job and with 3 kids to take. I don't think I get a lot of time to have a hobby as such, but I have dabbled in mandala paintings, mandala drawings once in a while. So I've tried out a lot of those things.
Okay, so
But one thing close to me, what I've never gotten the courage to do is salsa. So very soon, that is one thing that is on my bucket list that I want to do as well.
what kind of books are you usually interested in?
So, this is a little funny because a lot of people say that they use the philosophy or self-help books and they want to go and become better versions of themselves. But unfortunately, the self-help book bug did not bite me. I do a lot of fiction, especially crime thrillers and science fictions. I'm still stuck to my Robin Cooks and such kinds of books.
Wow. So this clearly indicates that you are satisfied with yourself and you want to explore and you are full of life rather than going behind philosophies and this hard concepts. You are just lively
I
and you want to be at the moment.
I hope so, because the number of crime stories I read, and so that must actually give you an idea that even the series that I follow on the web are all, crime related or science fiction related. So my friends keep telling me, so like, I think you'll commit a crime very soon, the number of crime books you read.
Or probably you will solve crimes joining
I
the
hope
police
so.
department.
That's a good comeback. I think I should tell my friends that part of it.
Yeah, great. What are the
Mhm.
societal issues that you care about, and what do you want to do about them?
Stems more from my English language teaching and all those classes that I've done. In fact, in between, there was one phase where I was working for a company that would install English language teaching software into the tier 3 and tier 2 city schools and colleges.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So they needed somebody from Bangalore to go teach the teachers how to use the software to teach the children English.
Okay.
So I have gone to a lot of smaller towns throughout South India at that time, and at that time I realized, unfortunately, the English of the teachers themselves was not that great. So,
Yeah.
even though they were using the software to teach the children, if the children had a doubt, they didn't know how to solve it because they themselves didn't know English. So, this is one thing that has been playing on my mind for quite a while. In fact, I keep telling myself, that as soon as I retire or as soon as I have some time, I'm going to put a set together and then I go to the government schools and help the teachers. So, this is something that I've always wanted to do. So, hopefully, that is going to be something that I will be able to do soon.
So great. So we have discussed a lot of things. So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, actually, when you came and spoke to me and you said that you wanted to do a podcast, I was very surprised because this was like the first time that somebody has asked me for this. And at that point, I didn't know how to react. I actually said, okay, sir, yes, yes, let's do. But after that, for 2 days, I was very worried. I'm like, what will I talk? I don't know what to say. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is the first reaction that you've gotten from people when you ask them?
Well, most of my interactions have happened in the online mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually send out email. See, there are a couple of things happen. One is one of my friends is like a solid backbone for this podcast.
Okay.
So she introduced me to a lot of her friends, and they take part in the podcast. That is number one. The other thing is LinkedIn,
Okay.
where I invite, and then
Oh,
I send across a message to them. If they are interested, they said yes, Venkat, I'm interested, and then we have an initial conversation about them, how to go about it, how the podcast happens, and all those things. Then we go for the recording.
okay.
In
Okay.
your case, as well as
Mm-hmm.
Priyanka Madam's case, I
Mm-hmm.
happened to meet you two at the program, and I thought you will be very good candidates for the podcast. So I immediately approached you two and asked for
Okay.
the. So in fact, that is the first time I'm approaching someone in person to ask for a podcast invite. That's how it
Oh,
happened.
really? Okay. Okay. And how did you get this idea of doing this podcast?
This is basically, I'm an author of a book and I wanted to discuss the book with various people. That was a starting point. And then later I felt
Okay.
that I should discuss in people's lives instead of me talking about the book and, my books
Mm-hmm.
and my work and things like that. Instead of that, why don't we talk about the people and their lives so that
Okay.
it will be an opportunity for them to express themselves. So many people, they they have so many ideas and thoughts which they are not able to express outside.
Mm-hmm.
They want a platform to
Okay.
tell out these ideas and things like that. So for them it would be a great opportunity. So that is the objective of this podcast. So yeah, it's going well. So
Okay, wonderful. Like I said, I mean, when I heard the different podcasts and I was truly inspired, like I was seriously after listening to Lavanya Prasad's podcast, I was like, okay, maybe I should look at storytelling. That is something I've never tried before. And Akriti, yeah, Akriti Jain was talking about, going to Spain, settling. So I was like, oh, maybe I can go to some other country and teach English. Then I can explore the country. So with each person's podcast, I was being inspired to do so many things.
you should become a storyteller. I think uh, you have a very good way of expressing yourself. So storytelling is something that would come to you naturally.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. I mean, in fact, yeah, storytelling also was something that I really want to explore now after listening to Lavanya Prasad. So I think you're doing a great job in terms of inspiring people to do things, and more than that, showing them the different avenues that are available.
Hmm. Okay.
Because if they listen to about 6 or 7 podcasts, and you have put it in the heading what exactly that podcast is about, so the moment they listen to it, it gives them a clear idea of what is the path, what is the goal, and what is the work that's required to reach that, and what is the satisfaction that people are getting. So
Hmm.
these things, at least for me, I felt like, wow, instead of doing all the research by yourself and not knowing whether it suits you or not, to hear it from a person who has done it makes a huge difference.
I agree. I agree. And also, sometimes people get career tips from these podcasts.
Okay.
People have told me that,
Ah, okay.
this gave me insight into this. I want to pursue this path. Like you said, being a
Yes,
storyteller or
yes.
being
Mm-hmm.
a person who travels and teaches English and all that. Likewise, people have shared that, I got some tips about how to proceed with a career and all that. So, which is interesting. Okay.
Correct.
Thanks a lot for all your inputs and your time and coming and spending time in the podcast. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, whatever it be. And let's be
Mm-hmm.
in touch about Zumba, salsa, trekking, storytelling, and so many other things.
And my English classes.
Of course, I will. I will do that.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me on this. It was a wonderful experience for me.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
That was a great podcast with Archana Dinesh. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.